Welcome, everyone, back for another episode of Sports Bets, but
we're blocked.
mostly chaos. And Ben provides about 97% of that chaos. But I am Craig, if you don't already know this.
I'm Jonathan.
I'm Benny.
I'm Jason.
And we're back. It's been, I don't know about you guys, but it's felt like a really long 2 weeks. And I don't know if it maybe has to do with the fact that there's just been so much going on in multiple sports, but it feels like it's just been incredibly long amount of time. So we got,
it feels like a month since we've had a podcast, and it doesn't help that the host takes a vacation during like the busiest week of the
okay.
Yeah.
Let's not start blaming me.
I'm glad I wasn't the one to point that out, but great time, host.
Great time.
And we're actually all out of time with this week's show. All right. Well, like I mentioned, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things going on, and we're gonna jump right into the thick of things. We're gonna start things off over on the baseball diamond in baseball, and we're gonna just jump right to the team in Southern California that gets covered so well on this show. You'd hope, but unfortunately, no. It's the way more boring team of Southern California. The one team who's probably not going to make, well, actually, they're definitely making the playoffs, but the one team that's not going to make it of all the California teams, it's the LA Angels of Anaheim. Ben, I mean, I know how they were doing because I saw it live, but why don't you just let everyone know how the Angels have been doing these last, 14 days or whatever it is?
Well, if you guys take out the Oakland series all season, I would say that they've been pretty respectable. But
I don't think so, Tim.
It always seems like whenever they kind of get onto a roll, and no, I'm not talking high-end roll. I'm talking about just winning a couple of games in a row. They always seem to face you guys, and then they just get stomped. So the Angels currently are 55 and 54, which pretty much solidifies their ability to, not make the playoffs this year. So they're pretty much done. They did when last podcast we had a couple weeks ago, they were playing the Twins and they ended up going 3-1, and then going against Colorado went 2-1. And like I said, things were looking pretty positive, and then they played Oakland, and Craig, you got a front row seat to a couple of those games, and 1-3, and barely got any runs really until that fourth game. But even that was, pointless.
You get shut out in the first two games. So.
Well, we can't all be overachievers. Anyways, no, we know our role.
This is their bats the entire time, basically.
So if you're going to go and watch an Angels game, you're pretty much going for the other team or to see a Shohei Ohtani, and that's about it. But they did finish off today against the Texas Rangers, finishing off a series 3-1 and winning 5-0 today. So that was pretty cool to see. They do have, speaking of the Dodgers, Cohooney, they have a 3-game set against them next. And then a 4-game set against Toronto. So we'll see how those go. But
Quit it. Move on.
In regards to Toronto, that'll be cool to see the number 1 and number 2 home run leaders going head to head. So we'll see if, Vlad Jr. can get a couple against the Angels pitching, because if anyone can give up home runs, it's definitely the Angels. So Ohtani is still leading the league with 37 home runs, though. So he's got 3 over as of right now. As of earlier today, Vlad, I don't know if he did get one today or not.
Doesn't have one so far.
Okay. So, but in regards to the Angels in depth, while our fearless host was away on vacay, there were a couple trades.
Get your crutches ready.
There were a couple trades made. Andrew Heaney, unfortunately, it was parted with and went to the Yankees. So hopefully he can do something for them.
Oh, yeah.
In return.
he didn't.
Okay. Good to know. We ended up getting 2 right-handed pitchers, Jansen Junk and Elvis Pajoya.
Did you say junk?
I thought he said by junk.
It's junk. I had to double take.
But junk is junk. Okay.
No, you're right.
We ended up getting rid of Tony Watson as well to the Giants, and we got 3 players, 2 right-handed pitchers, Ivan Armstrong and Jose Marte, plus a left-handed pitcher, Sam Selman. So we'll see. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not a bad thing to see 5 pitchers coming in our way, just because, as we've explained from day one, bullpen and pitching overall has been atrocious for the Angels for many years. So it's good to see them kind of taking steps in the right direction to at least try to correct that, because they are scoring some runs, maybe not against the A's, but everyone else, they seem to score runs, but always seem to get outworked because
Not even close.
The pitching is just atrocious. In regards to the season outlook, though, there have been a lot of injuries. Rendon has been placed on the 60-day IR, so he's going to be done. So that's cool, so the Angels just giving this money away. Walsh, right intercostal strain, got it at his last at bat versus the Rockies in the final game of that series. So that's why, Craig, you did not get to see him. Alex Cobb, right wrist inflammation. Dexter Fowler, torn left ACL. Franklin Barreto, Tommy John surgery. Cool.
Oakland A's legend, Franklin Barreto.
So those were just some of the bigger names. There's obviously Mike Trout still out. There's a few others that were.
Mike Trout's not a bigger name?
Well, he's been out for too damn long. So it's just, okay. We know he's done for the year. But there's been some other players as well. Big piece, though, is the team needs a new strength and conditioning coach in the offseason, because clearly this one did not do his job, because they may have been conditioned, but they sure as hell did not have the strength. So everyone is down for the count. So we'll see if they can just survive at 500 and finish the year off at 500 or not. And I want to see where Ohtani goes. Like I said, I think I projected 46 home runs in the season. So let's see where that ends up.
Still on
Can't
pace
do
for
it.
it.
Yeah, so I think I'll be relatively close. I don't think he'll hit the 50, but it'll be still cool to see him get the first overall. So that's all I got in Southern California, mostly more lame shit than anything positive to talk about. So let's go up north.
before we do go up north, though, speaking of Dodgers, I saw this earlier this week. Did you guys see this post 5 years ago this week, the trade that the Dodgers did? 5 years ago this week. Craig, I already talked to you about this.
That's right. I remember what it was.
Go ahead.
I feel like once you talk about it, I will remember.
Shut up.
Wait, I'm going to guess. Was it Crawford and Josh Beckett?
No.
No? Okay.
5 years ago this week, the Dodgers acquire right-handed pitcher Josh Fields from the Astros for minor league prospect Yordan Alvarez. Safe to say that trade did not pan out well for the Dodgers.
Well, they're looking pretty solid.
And now
with those
Alvarez
those
is over
trades they
here
just got.
killing us. Like, hey, Dodgers, screw you for that trade.
No, that's crazy.
I have to add, though, just a little bit on what you're saying, Ben, though, just about the Angels. I mean, let me tell you, watching that Angels lineup without guys like Trout, Rendon, Walsh, God, there's nothing entertaining in that lineup. I mean,
it's boring.
David Fletcher, he can be a spark at the top of the order, and Shohei Ohtani is in that 2 spot. But after that, you got guys like Phil Gosselin, Max Stassi.
They're trying to
Jose Iglesias. I mean,
Upton. They're trying to push his,
Upton too.
Trying to get him to be more in the spotlight. But it's
dude, Upton had a really good July too. So that's the crazy part. But he had a good July. David
so
Fletcher's had an awful.
Fletcher has been very just blah where he's been.
David Fletcher.
He shouldn't be. He's been just terrible this whole season from the get-go.
Exactly.
The only reason when he had good moments,
really good last year.
The only reason that he has good moments this season is when the team's already doing well, when other guys in the lineup are doing all the work, and then that's when he steps up and does something. It's like, hey, little Fletcher, how about you stop being a little bitch and you hit a home run to start off the game for everyone or something, but no, it's just not getting anything. And then losing someone. I mean, I understood losing Trout due to that injury, and he was going to be out long-term because they didn't want to rush him. And I'm like, cool, that's fine. But you do have Walsh, you have Rendon, you got, some good bats. And then everyone who is supposed to kind of contribute throughout the lineup is out for one reason or another. And you're like, cool. That's fun. I mean, I'm kind of hoping that the Angels pay me to go see a game live for them. It's just pretty bad.
It's still go for pretty damn cheap.
Oh no, of course
You just gotta sit up real high. But that's what I did for 3 of those 4 games. I just literally went up to the tip top.
You at least got to see your team win a majority of the games. I mean, it is a little surprising that you saw the 1-0 loss. That was kind of a shocker, but it happens. You have 162 games or whatever, so you're bound to get shut out by a shitty team eventually.
Yeah, I guess so. We'll go with that.
So we're gonna go up north to you guys now.
All right. Well, we can talk about, I guess, the Oakland A's a little bit, and definitely a much different looking team than the last time. The A's were very active during the trade deadline. They came out. They ended up acquiring Andrew Chafin from the Cubs early on in the week before the deadline, and then coming up to that as clock was coming down, they ended up. Well, actually, the day before, they ended up getting Starling Marte from the Marlins. They traded away Jesus Luzardo for Marte. And then the big one they had just hours before the deadline, they picked up Yan Gomes and Josh Harrison, Jay from the Washington Nationals. And I think you look at the lineup with those 3 guys in it, it's a much, much deeper lineup with those guys in there because I mean, I've kind of talked about it before about how just their offense has been at times. It's just kind of boring. Like they have so many guys that are so underperforming. Getting guys like they did really makes their offense that more dangerous, especially if they can get those guys that have struggled to just get going. So I would have really liked him to see him get another arm for the bullpen. But I think
the Angels took everyone.
They even said relievers were a hot commodity and it was hard to do it. So, but just based off of what the last podcast we got on here, they were opening a 4-game series up in Seattle. They ended up winning that opening game, the first game of that 4-game series, and they dropped the next 3. And then Seattle was just right on their tail for that second wild card spot. They had a day off that Monday, went to San Diego, ended up splitting 2 games there. Also, in the midst of that, the Seattle Mariners decided to trade Kendall Graveman to the Astros, which that's a whole mess right there. Here they are, basically storming up, and their GM was just like, "Nope."
Yeah.
So they split the 2 games in San Diego. Then they go to Anaheim.
Mariners.
Yeah, they go to Anaheim. They take 3 out of 4. They kept the Angels to 4 runs that entire series. So pretty good.
Don't you guys feel badass?
Great starting pitching, and then then they have a day off Monday. They have the Padres again for another 2 games at home. They lost pretty bad. They got dominated by the Padres on Tuesday, sort of similar to that game on Wednesday in San Diego. But then they ended up having the big comeback victory yesterday and extra innings to win 5-4. And so now they got the day off, and now they got the Rangers coming into town this weekend before they go back on another 10-game road trip where they're going to go to Cleveland for 3, Texas for 3, and then big one, they go to the White Sox for 4 games in Chicago. So important games. They're only a few games, ahead of some teams for that wild card spot. So
you had to be a total idiot to spend money to go see them play the White Sox for 4 games. Whew.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I guess I just want to know, like, Jason and John. I'll start with you, Jason. Just based on how you're feeling, I guess, just with how the team is playing, but also I want to know your opinion on the acquisitions and what maybe we can expect, hopefully, for this A's offense now that they've got some kind of new life.
Yeah, I mean, I like the acquisitions. The one thing I noticed about all 3 of the hitters is that, guess what? They hit for average.
Yep.
I think the lowest guy that they brought in was like a 270 hitter, which probably puts them pretty close to the top of the A's as far as average goes. I mean, Yan Gomes can hit. Starling Marte is a stud. Josh Harrison's a great utility player. So I'm guessing Pinder is probably not in the future, at least for this season. You're going to have a lot of options and lineup juggling to do. You got Murphy and Gomes. I'm sure they're probably going to platoon them a little bit. Or maybe just ride the hot hand. I mean, if Gomes catches the fire, sorry, Murphy, you're 4.5 games back from the Houston Astros right now, who we've talked about have a loaded lineup. They're pitching suspect, but their lineup top to bottom is pretty ridiculous. Yeah, I like the acquisitions. Good average hitters. Marte can run it. I think he stole 3 bags the other day. So, yeah, they're good acquisitions. See what happens in the future. Their pitching's been decent.
Their starters are pretty much. They have one of the best rotations.
Yeah.
Based on numbers. I mean,
everybody has a hiccup every once in a while.
Yeah,
it's not like
course.
it's. I mean, Bassett has a hiccup. Trading Luzardo, probably a good change of scenery for him to go to Miami, go back home. I'll be definitely checking in to see how he does. Overall, like you said, they are only a game and a half up on the Yankees, and let me check here, 2.5 up on Toronto in the wild card. So yeah, they got teams on their heels, so they got to keep it up and win those games. Big road trip, like you said. They, ideally, 6-4 would be probably ideal. Anything better is great, but going to White Sox and playing 4 games is no joke, and White Sox are dominated. So see where it goes.
Yeah, 6-4 would be perfect. You take 2 out of 3 from the Indians, take 2 out of 3 from the Rangers, and split against the White Sox. I'll take that any day on the road trip. But yeah, going back to the A's acquisitions, I love the moves they made. Harrison, a way better, bigger upgrade from Pinder. Hits for average, could play anywhere on the field. And then John Gomes, a way better hitter than Murphy, but something that does scare me is that he's not that good of a defensive catcher. While Murphy's still elite, so it's like, you do lose, you gain a better hitter, but you do lose something behind the plate if Murphy sits. So it's like give and take. But right now, the A's need offense. Like they're pitching so fantastic, they need offense. So like I get giving Young Gomes the more shares of days in the week, and then Starlin Marte. That's an everyday player. That's a fantastic player. Like our outfield is solid. I mean, Laureano needs to figure some stuff out because he hasn't been himself. You could argue Canna hasn't been himself since coming back from the injury, but I mean that outfield is really good. I mean, Canna, Laureano, Marte, like that's way better than what we had when we were trying to figure out, is it Piscotty? Is it Brown? Is it Kemp? We didn't know.
Musical chairs out there.
Yeah, and now it's no more musical chairs. Those are our 3 outfielders. And when's the last time the A's had like legit, hey, those are our 3 everyday outfielders? And it's good to finally have it. Like you said, Craig said, our pitching staff is phenomenal. Yeah, Manai struggled this one game, but he had been easily one of the best pitchers in July. Bassett had a hiccup a couple weeks back. Manaya's bound to have one. I mean, he had just blanked the same team a week earlier, so it's like, hey, shit happens. Yep. And then the one game we lost, surprisingly, we talked about him a lot in this podcast earlier in the season. Dalton Jeffries. Took me a little while to realize it was actually him pitching. I was like, wait, where's Caprillion? I didn't realize he was on the IR. But yeah, Dalton Jeffries was in there. He took the loss. Hey, we'll see what he does his next outing if he gets one. If he doesn't, But yeah, like between Manaya, Montas, and Bassett, like that 3-headed monster that we have right now is really, really good. And is it going to be enough in the playoffs? Is it going to be enough to get us to the playoffs? We'll see. We got 2 months to go, and you can just cross your fingers. But yeah, that offense, especially after making those moves, it's way better than it was in July.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, so like kind of what you're talking about, the starting rotation. I mean, just about. It seems like maybe you're getting like every 5 games, your starter is giving you a chance to win the game. They're throwing out there. They're throwing basically quality starts, and yeah, and that's kind of all you can really ask for starters. I mean, the A's have the most innings pitched by starters this year. And I think the last time I checked, it's not super close. It's not like someone's an inning or 2 behind them. They have a little bit of some spacing in between there. So they're getting plenty of innings from the starting pitchers. And yeah, it's one of those things where Dalton Jeffries can kind of step up and take over for Cap. I don't think it's been decided yet whether or not Caprilion's going to miss his next start on Sunday or not. But it sounds like, if he can't, Dalton Jeffries will just be right there again too. And I think they even asked Bob Melvin about that, like, about the whole plan with Jeffries. And he kind of straight up said, like, well, our plan originally was to have him up here pitching earlier in the season, but the rotation's been so darn good. I just haven't been able to. There hasn't been a decision to just put him up there. So because Caprillion came in there and all of a sudden it's like, okay, well Caprillion's that fifth starter right now. So and then it's just he's just
it's a good problem to have.
Yeah, it's a great problem to have. So and just be really big to see, like, let's see what this offense looks like with these guys, because Marte has been an absolute stud in the games he's played. I mean, he's just a constant threat. He can play defense. He can hit for average. He can steal bases, which, by the way, I love seeing an A's team that steals bases. And
what happened to that? Laureano was doing that early in the season. He just stopped. Like he had
I think
10 in the first 12 games.
He had a couple of those where he made some like bonehead plays and he got caught, and I'm sure there was probably a discussion of, hey, like, you need to not do that. My guess is that. So
probably an educated guess right there.
Internally.
And like we kind of what you said too, John, like their outfield is solid. Like, so I looked at Canna's numbers and he's pretty much hitting 250 since he's been back, and he's a 250 average hitter. But the thing about Canna is that the dude gets on base. He gets hit by pitches a lot. He works the count, which a lot of the guys line up do that. So, and believe it or not, I think Canna is actually very underrated when it comes to how important he is with this team, because when they started that skid, Canna was hurt.
Yep.
And I know there's a whole lot of discussion of whether or not, maybe Marte should be the leadoff hitter over Canna. And I don't know. I think you could work it that way, but I personally like the way it is right now
I like him in the 2-hole. Yeah, I really do.
Yeah. With Canna or Marte?
Marte.
Okay. Yeah. I think it works out good there. So
kind of reminds me of like a way less version of like what the Angels do with Trout, where it's like, you got a 5-tool player. You got someone who can hit for average, get on base, has power, has contact, get him in the 2-hole. So it's like he's basically another leadoff hitter, but he's got more power than the actual leadoff hitter.
Yeah. So it's gonna be interesting just to see just exactly, like once these guys have been here for a few weeks to see what they do. They got great veteran guys, and that's a big thing is that we've talked about this, off the show. They didn't go out and get a guy like Joey Gallo, just a guy that can, hit the ball for a long ways, but he hits for like 220. They have too many guys on this team that are hitting under 220 already. They went and got guys who hit for average. They're like you guys said, they're all the lowest hitting, or Jason, I think you said it. The lowest guy is hitting like 270. And last I checked, I think the only guy hitting over that is probably Matt Olson. I don't think anybody else on the team is hitting over that mark.
Andrews has fell off. He was close to it at one point.
Well, Andrews, the highest I think he's got to is maybe like 235.
Yeah, he had a shitty start.
Who was I thinking?
He had that.
Okay, it wasn't Andrews. I'm trying to remember.
No, Tony Kemp. Tony Kemp.
There it was.
Tony Kemp got up there to I think 280 something, but I mean, we're not gonna see him in the lineup really that much anymore because he's really fallen off. I think he finally hit that. We talked about a few podcasts ago back when he was still hitting like, oh, is there like a shelf life to this? And I think we've got our answer that yes, there's a shelf life to it. So, but I know it'll be really interesting to see just exactly a couple weeks from now to see like what does this offense look much more dangerous, because to be honest with you, I think both all of you guys, like we've talked about it, like I just thought that with that team that they had, there was no way they're to make any type of loud noise in the playoffs. They didn't have enough offense, and and I just thought the bullpen wasn't good. But thankfully, I think talking about the bullpen wise, they went and got a guy like Andrew Chafin, who's been very solid this year, and he's pitched relatively well in the few appearances he's had with the A's so far. But I haven't given this guy enough credit, but Sergio Romo has really emerged as a great option out of the bullpen. He started out really bad. I think he had a really bad April, but ever since then he's been really good. So having him is huge, because I think you have those two guys right there that can slide in the option of where you have Jake Diekman being important. So, and then you still got Yusmeiro Petit, who's like your horse. And then you still got Lou Trevino as well. So if they can just, if those guys can stay good and they could, get something, just decent from guys like Wendelken and Guerra whenever they use him. I think the bullpen has a chance. So I think the A's, they made the moves. They are in win now mode. They made moves that they addressed the problems that they had. They knew that the offense wasn't good enough to get them anywhere this year. They got 3 bats that could absolutely help them project them into making some noise in the playoffs. So I don't know. We'll see what it is, but yeah, they have work to do. They got teams right on their back. And like you said, you guys both said it. There's still plenty of time left. They're only 4.5 behind Houston. Maybe they can find a way.
And Houston's losing currently in the bottom of the ninth. So
so when you're saying win now mentality, do you mean win the wild card game now, or do you
no, I don't feel good about the A's in a wild card game against anybody, whether it's at home or away, no matter who they have.
Right now, you're lined up like if it were to just happen today, you guys have to play the Red Sox, right?
Red Sox,
yeah, that's all bad. All right.
Yeah. So no, that's the thing is I don't right now. You can't be thinking about the wild card. You got to be thinking about your division right now. Period.
I want winners.
You guys need to get out of that wild card funk. If from a person who's just kind of outside looking in at you guys, I'm like, you guys need to get over that wild card hump, get into a playoff series against a team, and just kind of have multiple games to find your structure for a playoff series.
At least this year, if we actually do get in a playoff series, it'll be an actual real series and not just some random series at Dodger Stadium where I think that was still bullshit. Like
that was very weird. Why of all places
just play all the games at the home stadium.
Yeah.
There's no fans going to be there, so what kind of home? Yeah, just play. The A's should never have played against the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium, especially considering the Dodgers had just
the Astros at Dodger Stadium.
Astros. That's what I meant. Yeah.
That was a shit show. It was a shit show, no matter who you were against. It was a shit show. It was so weird. I didn't understand the MLB's logic necessarily behind it fully. It was just one of those probably spur of the moment. Someone was just like, let's just do this to make it easier. But now that this year maybe a little bit different, as long as the Delta strain or whatever doesn't overtake again, then, hey, we'll play at your respected stadiums and you won't have to worry about weather, like the heat and climate and all that shit, carrying the ball.
No,
you
still have to worry about that.
Yeah. We get there. We get there when we get there. But
you want to talk about some of the? Okay, you go ahead.
I was going to say before we move on from baseball, I do think we want to touch on the Giants just a tad bit because, going into the deadline, very quiet on the Giants front. There were plenty of rumors and rumblings, but they hadn't made any moves until they went and got Chris Bryant from the Cubs.
I was so close.
What a fire sale! What a fire sale by the Cubs. Yeah. But anyways, me personally, I really like the Chris Bryant move. I think he is a great addition to that team that's already the best team by record in baseball right now. So, and just off the top of my head, I think they've been doing pretty well outside the break. They've won some important series against the Dodgers. I think the one hiccup is they lost 2 out of 3 to the Pirates at home. That was probably their one bad hiccup. But they did find a way to take 2 out of 3 from the Diamondbacks this week. They came back from 4-0 tonight and today in the 9th inning. They won 5-4. So I guess your guys' opinion, like on the whole Chris Bryant move and just anything else on the Giants you guys are feeling right now.
I took my son Nathan, to the Giants game on Sunday, and the place is packed. It was, if I had to guess, probably 36,000, 37,000 people. It's Chris Bryant's debut, and the crowd treated him well. I think he's a great fit for the team. He grew up a Giants fan, grew up a Barry Bonds fan. Wouldn't shock me if he signs an extension after the season. I think, again, like a 2-hole hitter, he fits at the top of the lineup great. Hits for solid average, hits for power. They're, like you said, they took 2 out of 3 from the Diamondbacks. Acquired Tony Watson for a little bit of bullpen help. And reinforcements are still on the way. They got Brendan Bell, who just came back. Listella just came back, and Longoria is on the mend too. So they're going to have some bats and some options to decide on who's going to be playing every day, where to play Chris Bryant. There was a rumor today that they may move Longoria over to second base and keep Chris Bryant at third. So it might be, whatever. But, like you said, Craig, they're still leading the majors with the best record. They have 69 wins.
Very nice.
Nice. But yeah, they're 4 games up on the Dodgers. They're 7.5, I believe, up on the Padres. So the Padres are kind of fading. before the season started, would you have said that the Giants are going to make the playoffs? I probably would not have, and
Nah.
they're almost
Yeah,
assuredly a lock.
I would have had them as the second wild card.
I did comfortably say that they were going to hit the over on their over-under on wins, which
Right.
they're probably, maybe 10 away from that now?
Yeah.
If
I think it was
maybe
like
that. I
78.
think they're over.
I think their over-under was like
It was in the 70s.
50-50, wasn't it? Well, they expect them to not even be 500. That is
No. How many wins? I think it was like 78 wins. That was the over-under.
yeah, and 81 and 81 is 50 is 500.
I have to look it up, but yeah. I mean,
given the year that they had last year, yeah, it's not too far along to think that they wouldn't have had a solid year, like you said, Jason, a few podcasts ago. A lot of these guys are early into their contracts, kind of thing, and
who's early into their contracts?
Or not early into their. I'm sorry. There was was it next year that their contract? A lot of their contracts.
A lot of contracts are expiring after.
Yes, that's what I mean. Sorry.
Hello.
So because of that, they should have been expected to do better next year. This year, it's kind of like a Golden Knights thing where guys are just given a chance and they're just fucking going off. So you couldn't really predict that,
You had to throw the Golden Knights.
Yeah,
I had to.
This team was one win away last year from making the playoffs. Like they just lost the last game of the season.
Ooh, so close.
I figured they were going to. I had them as a second wild card, facing off against the Padres, and hey, maybe they'll actually win the division, and the wild card game will be Dodgers Padres. Like, could you imagine?
And what the insane thing about it too is that really more than likely what's going to happen is whoever I'm just gonna assume that the Giants will win the division at this point. The Dodgers and Padres are more than likely going to be the wild card matchup. Well, the winner of that's going to be playing the Giants in a series. Insane, right? So I mean that's the thing is that all three of those teams are really good. I personally think the order they're in right now is probably how I would rank them. The Dodgers on paper have like a fantastic team. I mean, they just picked up Max Scherzer and Trey Turner. Yeah. But I don't know, something about the Giants always play them incredibly tough. They're always tough games. They have
one of those things.
They have a slip up where the Dodgers will, they'll beat them up a little bit. But at the same time, this season, the Giants have won more games against the Dodgers and vice versa. So the Giants are handling it. So it'll be interesting, especially when you get one game playoff, because, if I were to pick it right now, it's probably going to be at Dodger Stadium. It's going to be Padres at the Dodgers. There's a whole question. Is Tatis going to be healthy? Because he's been having issues with his shoulder. He didn't play in these 2 games in Oakland. And, he's a big bat. I mean, don't get me wrong. They still have tons of bats in that lineup. They went and got Adam Frazier, which that would have been another great guy if the A's would have somehow pulled getting him off. But yeah, they have plenty of bats in that lineup, and they have good pitching too. So it'd be interesting. In that 1 game playoff, I mean, you're one of those teams. I mean, they have a bad game. The Dodgers could have 1 bad game and they're done. So it's just nuts with the wild card game.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a ratings bonanza, I think, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
I just got one more thing to add. The trade deadline. What the hell are you doing? What the hell are they doing keeping Trevor Story? They're literally about to lose him in the offseason.
That's one of the most.
What are you doing?
Yeah, that's really one of the most insane things, because there was so much chatter of, this is the craziest deadline in MLB history or whatever. And it's the one guy that it was for sure going to move. Didn't go anywhere.
Yep.
He stays right in Colorado, and he's not happy about it. And
so you're telling me that it was a little rocky during that.
Oh, okay. Run that down. We're done.
Just for the viewers, this is your bathroom break. Okay.
Yeah. Speaking, great timing. That's a great way to shift things off, because we're gonna switch things off from the baseball diamond over to the rink. NHL. No games going on, but plenty of action going off the ice. Tons of moves going on. Just lots of stuff going on. Ben, take it away.
Yeah, so a lot of free agent signings. Now the free agency is available. There were some good signings, not so great signings. So Getzlaf for the Ducks will be staying for 1 more year at least. He signed a $4.5 million deal. I think after this year, if they really don't make the playoffs, I could see him going somewhere else like Vegas or one of those more of a contender teams to get an opportunity. And then unfortunately, something that really hurts is Corey Perry signed with Tampa Bay for 2 years, $1 million per year.
Chasing that ring.
You got to respect it. He's going for it. I don't think he'll get it this year, but maybe next season. And then a signing that happened just yesterday, I believe, was probably one of the dumbest signings ever, was Thomas Tatar signing with the Devils for 2 years, $4.5 million per year. I'm going to automatically say this guy is one of the most overrated players. This is a guy that was a healthy scratch the entire playoffs or entire Stanley Cup finals for the Montreal Canadiens because they had a good lineup and he was getting paid pretty well and not getting any ice time. He was also traded he was picked up by Vegas for a first round, second, and a third round pick.
Jesus.
Yeah, I don't understand why he has so much value behind him.
Hell.
He didn't do anything. Literally nothing. So he's a complete waste. But then another interesting signing was the Sharks sign Aiden Hill to a 2-year extension at $2.175 million per year to avoid arbitration. So all I can say is I'm really surprised there wasn't a 7-year no movement clause attached. So, hey, it's all good. But I would say when we had talked about the Kraken and all the goaltenders that they had gotten,
for it.
all the goaltending they had gotten and everything, somehow they still managed to top all of that. And everyone thought, including myself, thought that Dreiser was going to be their starting goaltender. Nope, not the case. They went out and got Philip Grubauer from the Colorado Avalanche, and they signed him to a 6-year, $5.9 million contract. And you know what he says? It was a no-brainer for me. Colorado had their time and opportunity. Talk about a middle finger to Colorado. So after that happened, shortly after, they decided to trade Vanacek back to the Capitals for a 2023 second round pick, which is actually very funny that they were able to do that because the reason why they didn't go for Carey Price was because their only intent was to grab him and resell him back to Montreal for a bunch of draft picks. But the league said, no, you're not allowed to do that because that will create a funk. So they said no. So they did it with a little bit of a smaller piece. So Grubauer and Dreiser will be your tandem in Seattle. And then that loser from Ottawa or whatever his name is, he'll be in the minors probably. But don't worry, Colorado did fill that void with Kemper from Arizona.
I'm yelling, Kemper.
Hey, I'd like that. He's become a pretty good goaltender. So I think that's going to be pretty solid for them. He's a bigger goaltender too. And then he decided to tweet out, I didn't find out on Twitter or anything, so that's good. And that was a nice shot at Marc-Andre Fleury because he was traded to Chicago, and he did find out via Twitter that he had gotten traded. No management or anyone from Vegas had told him this.
Good class.
Yes. And then you found out that Vegas had no trust in Marc-Andre Fleury. They said this. They had no trust in him and his puck handling abilities in his decision making. Wow. So, wow, that's pretty fucked up because I think he's a pretty solid goaltender. He makes his oddball brain farts, but I don't think him, just because he made that fluke against Montreal, I don't think he should have been benched for the next games. And that was the death of Vegas for their opportunity to make to the Stanley Cup final. So after a couple days to really think about it, Marc-Andre Fleury did decide to play. He's going to go to Chicago. He said it's a youthful team win now kind of thing. So it was pretty appealing. So we'll see how that goes. And then a couple things around the league that had happened was Dubois, he was a former Columbus Blue Jacket. He's now playing for the Winnipeg Jets. He's going to actually change his number to number 80 in order to honor his former teammate who passed away on 4th of July, Kivlanik. I don't know if I said that correctly.
That right?
So that's pretty cool that he'll be doing that to honor him. Something a little bit funny is John Tortorella will be NHL studio analytics for ESPN.
How's that
Guys,
gonna
can you give me your money? I'm just gonna throw this into the fire.
That's gonna be interesting. I mean, it's bad
I'm
enough
just
to
gonna shovel
see.
this money into the fire.
Hey, they want him for the content. Just like Craig had pointed out,
move based on content. I mean,
no, it's going to be something wild. So Bruce Boudreau, how he's on NHL on the fly and stuff. So you want those wild card people for those crazy situations. You never know. And you know what? This last one, I'm actually not even going to discuss because I know this is going to be a get off my lawn segment. So I just won't even touch this one. But that's all I got in regards to the hockey world. Nothing too exciting right now. There were some little good trades, some interesting signings during the free agency battle. Plenty more to go, but that's just it for right now. So I'm definitely looking forward to the regular season.
Hey, Ben, I have a question, though. I'm pretty sure I saw Nick Ritchie sign with somebody. Did you want to report who Nick Ritchie signed with? Or?
I only talked about the important shit. I don't know. I talked about his brother last podcast. That was more important. So if you'd like to, go ahead, fire away.
No, I don't even remember who he signed with.
I think he signed with the Leafs, so his hopes are done, I believe. I don't.
He's an idiot.
I think it was the Leafs.
Boston. I want to say Boston.
He was on Boston.
Oh, he's on Boston.
So I'm pretty sure he's on. I'm not even gonna look this up. I am pretty sure it's Toronto, and it's like a 2-year deal, 18,000 Dunkin' Donuts or something like that. I don't really know what the exact contract details were, but I'm just like, when I saw that, I was like, good luck, you fucking asshole.
All right, I can tell you guys who he signed with once I find the drum roll.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
Here we go. It is the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Called it.
Boo!
Boo this
Well,
one.
I mean,
Boo
hey,
that
it's
man. Boo.
Like-
Out in 7.
hey, it's all good. So no, that's all I got in regards to the hockey talk. We'll see if next week there's anything new or exciting that's come up. But I think a lot of action has happened in that first week or two. A lot of good signings and a lot of good movement throughout the league. And I think it's really given a lot of those underdog teams a chance to be competitive this upcoming season. So I'm really excited to see what they can offer.
Thanks for the
Nice.
reporting, Ben. Did fantastic.
What? Who?
All right. Well, we got more off-season stuff to talk about. Not hockey related, but this is basketball related. So, I'm sorry, I messed it up. I can remember who's talking first between the two of you on this one, Jason or John. I know how to throw it to somebody. So we're throwing it to Jason. Jason, yeah. I know the Warriors. They got some stuff on the Warriors report. We have other things to talk about. Plenty of players moving around in the league. Jason, take it away.
Steph Curry got moved to the Pelicans, right?
I'm also gonna get another drink while this happens. So
trash. Yeah, we got some Warriors news. Biggest news I think is that Curry signed a 4-year extension for $1 billion. Actually,
215 million, right? That's
215
insane,
million.
dude. That is fucking insane.
Yeah.
For 4 years?
4 years, 215 million.
Holy shit.
They did a thing today. It was like, I forget how much, like $100 per minute is.
Oh, the breakdown of it?
Breakdown, yeah, something ridiculous.
Oh my God, that's fucking gross.
Yeah. Also, the Warriors, NBA had a draft last Thursday. And the Warriors were rumored to either trade their draft picks or draft. And they decided to draft players. They drafted a player with a lot of upside in Jonathan Kuminga. He plays a forward position, a wing.
He's got a good first name.
Yeah, debatable, but
debatable.
He got a lot of upside. He's raw. Played a lot in the G League. So they're definitely drafted him for his upside. I think he was surprised that they fell to him.
Did he hit the spot though?
Yeah, he hit the spot. There you go. And then with the 14th.
That's what she said.
Jeez.
My mom's gonna hate hearing
Not
this.
even the best part is I have no idea what the context was, but I just heard that
Did you
last
say
line.
concept? Did you say concept?
Yo,
He
like,
wants
what's the
it.
context?
Okay.
As Lil Dicky once said. Okay,
Okay.
what's the context?
Okay. And then with the 14th pick, they drafted Moses Moody, who could be a ready player for them next year off the bench. Maybe play 10 to 12 minutes. He's a spot-up shooter, good on defense. They really liked him a lot. They almost drafted him with the 7th pick. So when they fell to 14, they swooped on him. Curry has said that he likes the picks. So does Draymond. So they're looking for players that can bridge the gap between the old and the very young. They really haven't found them yet in free agency, but we're going to see what happens here. Kelly Oubre Jr., like I said, wants a lot of money, and no really contenders going to pay him a lot of money, except that he's in negotiations with the Charlotte Hornets right now, which again, they're okay, I guess, but they're just going to want to pay him a little bit of money, whatever. In other news, I know John breaks your heart. Alan Smiley Geach is waived. They cut him, so he was big upside. And then Eric Pascal was traded. Eric Pascal was traded to the Jazz for a protected 2nd round pick, which is weird to me that there's a protected 2nd round pick in general. So that, and then the last thing is that Ben Simmons of Philadelphia still wants to be traded and wants out of Philadelphia, and Golden State is continued to be pushed as the rumor destination. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, they want Wiggins, Wiseman, my kidneys, everything for it. And I'm like, you're in a position of no leverage. I would give them Wiggins and maybe a couple 1st rounders and call it a day.
Didn't you already give up your left kidney? I mean, I don't know. How many left kidneys you got here, man?
Left, right.
Yeah, the GM over there in Philadelphia needs to lay off the bath salt because he's just asking for way too much. Like you said, like Simmons wants out. Everyone knows he wants out. What the hell are you doing asking for all this stuff? And then side note, you already have Joel Embiid. What are you doing signing Andre Drummond? That didn't make any sense. And the funny part is Joel Embiid called Drummond a bum just last offseason. And now they don't get along. Now they don't play together. Like, I don't know what they're doing over there in Philly. I mean, it's the city of brotherly love, but I don't see it.
Yeah.
But to move forward, to talk about a couple of the moves though, free agencies opened up. One of the big moves is Chris Paul is staying with the Phoenix Suns, so he's agreed with the deal. And then we got Alonzo Ball for the Pelicans is getting moved to Chicago, so it's looking like they want Zion to be more of a ball contributor. And then the biggest trade right before the draft is the Lakers acquired Russell Westbrook, so they got themselves a big 3.
Dumpster fire.
Dumpster fire. It's not a dumpster fire; it's an antique store because then they went and got Carmelo Anthony. They signed Carmelo Anthony. I'm surprised his late knees still work. They also went and got Malik Monk from the Charlotte Hornets. Like, everyone's like, "Oh my God, we got Malik Monk." I'm like, the guy's not even a starter in Charlotte. And he's like some spot up 3-point shooter. It's not
He's
that
a bum.
good. Exactly, he's a bum. But then you got Spencer Dinwiddie is leaving the Nets. Blake Griffin's re-signed with the Nets. You got Kendrick Nunn is also going to the Lakers. And then another big move is Kyle Lowry is going to the Heat. So the Heat got themselves a point guard. So now they got Bam, Lowry, and Butler. And they still have Hero. And I think Duncan Robinson's a free agent maybe this year, or he might be next year. But they still have him at the moment. Yeah, okay, they re-signed him.
And Oladipo too.
Yeah, well, that's another one. So yeah, the Heat over there are building a team, so they're a team to keep a good eye on next year.
Which team?
And then the Heat.
Which team? The Heat. Oh, they're rebuilding.
Yeah. They're not rebuilding. They're reloading. They went and got Kyle Lowry so they have an actual legit.
Just give him 15 minutes. He'll be good to go.
Yeah. Whatever. And then the last thing I want to bring up is that the Bulls got DeMar DeRozan, so in a sign and trade. So
Bulls
a lot of good. Yeah, a lot of really good moves out of the East. And then really the only team in the West that's did something like dramatic is the Lakers. I mean, you could argue like the Suns, they got Chris Paul back, but this might have been their year. I don't see them as a threat next year, which could be disrespectful. I mean, they have the exact same team, but I think last year was the perfect storm. I think it was like Toronto of 2019, where it was a perfect storm. You had all the good teams in the West either got eliminated or, like the Warriors, they lost
Everything
Clay and
fell
Durant.
in place for them.
Yeah, so I think last year was the perfect storm for both Phoenix and Milwaukee. I don't see either of those teams making it back next year.
Do you think the Lakers are going to win the championship next year?
Actually,
okay,
go ahead, John. Touch on that.
Oh, sorry.
John, go ahead.
There was a question. I had to.
No, I'm giving Craig shit by actually taking my time because he did that. I say no. I say sure. You got a bigger offseason from LeBron and AD, but let me just say, like, they're both, like, AD is, I think, past his prime. He can't stay healthy, and LeBron is definitely past his prime. I worry he can't stay healthy, and then Russell Westbrook.
He just played with Bugs Bunny though. I mean, he's pretty solid. So,
all right, Jason, go ahead.
Oh my God. I didn't want to play a drop for that. That was just so just ill-tasted and just
stop to see that shit movie.
It's such a rookie move. Like, this is like the 16th podcast, bro.
Oh, my bad. Sorry. Let's just cut that out.
Yeah.
Just cut that out.
I'll touch on LeBron real quick. He did a deleted tweet. He said, something along the lines of, keep that same energy. Talking about my team is so old and blah, 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 blah. And we're the underdogs. And I'm like, dude, you're favored to win the NBA championship next year. Stop with the woe is me movement. Like, dude, you got a good team. Stop with the whole pity party. Last thing I want to touch on is, before we jumped on the podcast, Andre Iguodala announced that there's 3 teams remaining for his services. It's the Brooklyn Nets, the Los Angeles Lakers, and your Golden State Warriors. So I think it's a leverage play. The Warriors have the mid-level exception that could pay $5.9 million, but with the luxury tax, it turns into about like $40 million because they're over the tax. So I think Andre Iguodala might have leaked that to see if he can swindle some more money out of the Warriors. But if they pay him anything, the veteran minimum, I don't know. I'd rather go get somebody else with the 5.9.
Yeah. And then to bring up the best remaining free agents, it is getting really slim. I mean, Kawhi is still technically a UFA, but it's a little
Clippers, right?
No, well, it's actually very controversial. There's a point where there's a chance Kawhi might sit out next year just because of what the Clippers are offering, and like it's just there's a lot of controversy going over there. So that needs to get cleared up. And then after that, the next ranked best player available is Kelly Oubre, which like we've talked about, he's asking for way too much money.
Yeah.
And then we got Dennis Schroeder, Danny Green, and Lauri Markkanen. Markkanen coming off an awful year, so a team can get him for very cheap. Danny Green, way old guy, decent, can come off the bench, get a couple steals, hit a couple threes, nothing to come talk about. So, in my opinion, Dennis Schroeder is the guy. I mean, where is he going to go? He wants to go to a contender, but at the same time, he wants to get paid. Like, he wants the money. And I don't think he's worth the money. So we'll see what happens the rest of the free agency. But yeah, all the big names are off the board.
Yeah.
A lot of interesting stuff going on, that's for sure. No matter what sport you pick it. So, all right, boys. Well, as we shift things off, getting into a segment that's going to start becoming more normal, and that is the NFL. So I think we all have some reporting. I know they have the Hall of Fame game going on tonight. I have no idea how that game's gone. I just know the John's Cowboys are involved, and they're probably losing.
Because they lost.
No.
Bummer.
Sucks to suck, but
valiant effort.
But yeah. It's a fucking Hall of Fame game. Who gives a shit? you got Mason Rudolph facing off against Dan Garrett Gilbert or whatever the fuck his name is.
But isn't so?
Garrett
But
Garrett Gilbert.
I think I was hearing today because they'll have a game like on Sunday night, right? They have some Sunday night games, and I think we have.
Not this week.
Is it the following week?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the Hall of Fame game is the first.
So starting, I believe starting next Sunday, there'll be NFL on Sunday for like every week and every weekend up until February.
Yep.
So that'll be exciting to have that back for sure.
For sure.
So I guess, is there anything you guys want to report on, or do we all have something that we all maybe want to mention or anything?
I got a little bit.
I got a very smidge.
Jason, why don't you start it off since you were the first one to say something? You probably have something Niners related you want to get to, right?
Yeah.
You look hella pissed.
No, Niners, training camp's going on, obviously. Beat reporters for the team are saying that Trey Lance is out here balling out of control, and they might be pushing the narrative to start him week 1. From the highlights I've seen, he's ridiculous. Some people are saying that he's a mix between Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. I don't know. I want to see him play a preseason game or two. How he gets, how he looks, how he moves. It's going to be different this year. There's only 3 preseason games instead of 4. So I think the third preseason game will be like the dress rehearsal still, because there's still a 2-week gap between then and the regular season. Fred Warner signed that extension. So yeah, I'm ready to see some games. Like you said, football is going on till February. So college and NFL. So I'm excited for both. I have a couple other notes to add. Dee Ford was injured most of last year. He's been often injured for the Niners since he came over as a trade with the Chiefs, but he's back on the field. Seems to be healthy. So if they can add him to the pass rush on third down, Niners defense obviously gets a boost there. Couple futures bets for the people. Super Bowl odds.
Oh, do we got any music?
Yeah,
it's a bet. Come on, it's a bet.
Oh, is this where I'm supposed to put I'm supposed to play music here or what?
Yeah, anytime we're doing bets. Come on.
Sorry, it's playing.
All right. So the Niners are plus 1,400 to win the Super Bowl this year. It's a decent bet. My long shot and sleeper.
Shot in the dark here.
Shot in the dark here. There you go. Plus 3,300 to win the Super Bowl is the LA Chargers. I think they're good on offense and defense, and they could be a dark horse in the AFC. But that's all I got on the NFL and Niners this week. Like we said, more coverage will be coming every week, especially with games going on. You can recap.
All right, Cohooney, let's hear about your Cowgirls. Cowboys.
No, you go first. Let's hear about the Lions.
All right, well, this will pretty much be as quick as it can be.
That's what she said.
With the Lions.
Daddy, chill.
With the Lions, there isn't too much to report right now. The team did waste no time, though, into getting into hitting drills. They're doing one-on-one hitting drills just to show, just to immediately get their team into the physical side of it. And of course, with that, of course, showed just the vulnerability of the team. So we have 9 players right now on the injured list. A couple of them were from the hitting drills itself. So we're not really too worried overall. They'll probably come back in time for preseason and throughout those 3 games. So they should be ready for the 11-6 record that I predicted for them this year. But they did say it was another forgettable practice for the offense. Jared Goff, just like we saw it in LA, is being very hesitant when it comes to trying to throw the ball into coverage, trying to be able to hit that man for the deep route while being covered. So he was more so going for the short gains. So unfortunately, it's a little disappointing to hear those reports, because I was kind of hoping that with this new team, maybe he'd kind of shake that off and kind of spread his wings a little bit and take risks. But again, hey, you know what? It is just training camp. You're playing against your own guys.
I want winners.
Maybe he'll be a little more daring come preseason, and then maybe during the season he'll just say screw it and go for it. we'll wait and see what happens, though. That's all I got right now. Hoping to see some of these guys come back and then we can see what they're really all about in preseason. But it should be a definitely long season for the Lions.
Wait, so no 11-6? Oh,
No, long successful season.
Yeah, there we go. See, thank you, Cohoon. Anyways, all right.
Nice.
And on that note, Cohooney, let's hear those Cowboys.
Got anything, Craig?
I mean, really, the only thing I could really talk about, I think, really, if you're looking at the Vikings or Bills, is they have some COVID-related, I guess, issues, if you want to call them that, with certain players. I know the Vikings, like, Kirk Cousins was kind of put on like a COVID list and everything. I guess he's never tested positive because he was involved in some training camp stuff or whatever, but I know there's been some frustration between the head coach and certain players that are refusing to get vaccinated. I know Kirk Cousins is one of those, just because, and he's been kind of upfront about his opinion on it since really the beginning about how he, and like, that's the thing is, Kirk Cousins is kind of a man of God, and I know he has opinions on it, and I'm not going to be one to come out and think that, his thought process or his beliefs are wrong or anything like that. That's, that's his prerogative. So I just think in general, when we look at the whole COVID situation and the whole, it kind of sucks because we're having these spikes again. And I think it kind of shows that it kind of spikes from people that aren't getting vaccinated. And I'm not trying to come out and say people that aren't getting vaccinated should. It's not really my stance of it, but more than likely, we're probably not going to really get out of this thing completely until we can possibly get the vaccinated numbers up. So that's a whole thing. But I think Cole Beasley for the Bills is obviously way more of the main attraction when it comes to this because of the constant how verbal and how he's been about the whole situation. And he's tried to say that he's not pro or con vaccine or whatever. He's just kind of said that, like, I'm a believer that I'm not going to take something to get fixed for something that's not broken. So I don't know, people have their opinions on it, but honestly, I don't have a whole lot else I could really provide other than they've both got situations COVID related going on. It's a kind of a situation. I think the NFL has a lot of things to kind of figure out if they haven't already when it comes to, players, and really when the season, if a team has an outbreak and it has the whole situation where if a team ends up having to forfeit, I don't know. I think it could get real messy for sure. So it'll be interesting, but yeah, that's just kind of all I have to report, I guess, from the Vikings and like the Bills side. The Raiders, I don't really have anything to tell you. They're probably gonna go 500, so that's all I can tell you again right now. But we'll get more into that as we get closer. I said close to 500. It's not impossible to go 8-1, Coon. So shut your mouth, know your role, move on. Let's go.
Well, speaking of the Raiders, they did actually just sign someone today. They signed defensive tackle Jaron McCoy. So that is a free agency signing that they just made. Out of Cowboys training camp, Dak Prescott's dealing with a lingering injury, so he's out for a couple of weeks. Nothing major. He'll be ready before the regular season. There was a huge brawl between teammates at the Giants
I heard
practice that actually led to Daniel Jones being at the very bottom of a dog pile, like towards like. So it got to the point where it really pissed off Joe Judge, and it also pissed off, I believe he's their center, Joe Tooney, longtime NFL veteran. He retired. He's like, I'm done with this bullshit, and he retired.
Run that guy.
Crazy to think that his career is over. Longtime veteran. I think he was playing the Colts for a long time. But yeah, so he called it quits. He's not dealing with this crap. Wow. All these young kids and stuff. And then another person to keep their eye on. He's probably the best free agent available still right now is KJ Wright, former secondary for the Seattle Seahawks. He did visit the Raiders today, but he left not signed. But he did not say the Raiders are out of choice, but he just has a couple more teams he needs to take a look at first. But that's probably the best the best player to still keep an eye on is KJ Wright to see where he goes.
All right, that's what I was going to clarify. I was like, who did you say again? But
yeah, and then I think I saw one more thing.
I was going to say I had something that I just thought about too. If anybody saw this, especially because it's not directly Cowboys related, but I think we all know who former Dallas Cowboys head coach Jason Garrett is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did any of y'all see what happened? I guess during an interview, he basically I can't, maybe I don't have this fully right, so
what a clown.
Give me a little leeway here, but basically interview wraps up, he says like, thanks guys, and the reporters essentially say, great to see you in person, Jason. And then he basically, not like a dick, like he didn't come aggressive, but he was just like, we say thanks coach, or you say thanks coach to me, or something like that.
Shit.
And then he like walked away. So that became a whole thing where he apparently didn't like the way that they said, thank you for your time and good to see you in person, Jason. And guess he wanted to be called coach. So
I get that every week. What are you talking about?
Jesus.
yeah, so that's
So basically, it's like Craig during softball, where he's like, "How dare you call me Craig? I am coach. I am head coach out here. I am your manager."
He is manier.
Did you say he's many heirs?
Manier. He's a manier.
What?
Oh man. Good time.
okay. Well, now that we've got that, we can move on now. So
Mm-hmm.
all right, so we've covered the main sports. Now we got in our own little, like, our own personal sports lives we like to touch on. So we always start things off, but let's be fair. Cohooney does present us with one of our favorite segments for all of us, the Cohooney 5. But you're probably gonna want to start with your bowl recap. I know you didn't bowl this previous week. You got an injury to let us all know. You're on the IL. So I guess whatever you want to do, John. You want to start with your bowling recap from not this past week, but the previous Monday, or go to your Cohooney 5, whatever you do. I'll make sure I'll have the music ready to go.
Yeah, I'll start with the bowling recap. Like Craig said, I have a small injury right now. I pulled my quad during softball a couple of Wednesdays back, so it still wasn't healed enough to where I couldn't play. I couldn't go to bowling on Monday, and I couldn't play softball last night. So I didn't bowl this week, but the week before, I bowled 2 games average and 1 really awful game. Probably the worst game we've had since the mask mandate got lifted, which ironically the mask mandate got reinserted. So it should be interesting to see how I do next week, where I can't actually breathe during bowling. So that should be fun. But yeah, team actually still took 4 points up that week, and then this week I did talk to my teammates to see how they did. We split 2-2 with the first place team, so we didn't gain ground, but we also didn't lose ground. So it's nothing to write home about. One of my teammates, 116 average bowler, shot a 172 the second game, so that was nice. He's getting a lot better. He's new bowler, still learning the game. But yeah, that's all I have for bowling recap. We'll should be very interesting to see how I bowl this week, where I can't breathe. But we'll go on the Cohooney 5. I'm still very tilted about my last week's. Well, we missed the week first, so it was a week prior outcome of UFC, because the judges were awful that night. It was all over UFC Twitter and everything. First off, Miranda Maverick, she beat Macy Barber. I don't know what the judges were seeing. She won that second round. They said she didn't, so that was a loss. I got the win with Darren Elkins beating Minert. But then once again, Kyler Phillips, what are they watching? Like, he dominated the whole first 2 rounds, and then he gassed out and lost the third round. But they gave the Pava the second and third round. Just whatever. Lost there. Aspen Ladd and Macy Chason unfortunately got canceled, so that's a no contest there. And Sandhagen lost a very close decision Dillashaw. So overall, I went 1-3-1. So that puts my overall record of 42, 35, and 3 going into this week's pay-per-view. It's easily one of the less hyped pay-per-views in the last couple of months. But let's start off the main card anyways. I'm going to be going with the favorite in the very first fight. It's going to be Casey Kenny beating Son Yadon. Wow, Ben did laugh. I really thought that would be where Ben laughed his ass off. But
Well,
yeah, Casey.
Don't worry, I'll provide you some Ben laughter if you'd like.
Yeah, sure. There we go. But yeah, so to start off the main card, I got Casey Kenny beating Sonya Dawn. Next up is gonna be Tisha Torres. I have her beating Angela Hill.
Tisha, huh?
Tisha Torres. Angela Hill
Is over there.
this year has had 5 fights canceled. So we'll see if this fight doesn't get canceled. I don't know what's been COVID, injury, what, but she has not fought on all this year. And I think the ring rest gets to her. I had Tisha Torres beating Angela Hill. Then next up, I got the underdog, which is funny because he opened up as a way bigger underdog. And, you know, UFC is only 2 days from now, and he's right now only a plus 100. He opened like plus 180. Should be interesting to see if he's actually a favorite by Saturday. I would probably get this guy while he's still an underdog. Michael Chiesa, I have him beating Vicente Luque. Luque is one of the best up-and-coming fighters in the division, but once he gets to that prove-it fight, he's lost. He lost to Wonder Boy, and now he has his prove-it fight against Chiesa, and I think he's going to lose this one as well. And then we got this is easily one of the closest fights on the card. I have Pedro Munoz beating Jose Aldo. Aldo, for those who are UFC fans, is a former champion. He's actually gone up a weight class. He's older age, harder to make the weight cut. It's a very close fight. Both high-ranked fighters in the division, but I got Munoz beating Aldo. And then we got the main event. I don't know why this is an interim fight. I guess Ngannou didn't want to fight 6 months after his last fight, and Dana White said, no, you have to fight, and he said no. So they put in interim titles where he's forced to fight whoever wins this. But it's Cyril Gane versus Derek Lewis, and I'm going to go with the favorite Gane. There's a lot of people who think Derek Lewis is going to win this fight, and if he does win the fight, it's going to be by knockout. But Cyril Gane's undefeated. He has never been knocked out in his career, and it's going to take that one punch. And while Lewis can do it, Gane has an amazing chin. So I have Gane winning in the main event, winning by unanimous decision after five rounds, and he's going to take on Ngannou.
The voting category, huh?
It's kind of funny. It's going to be Ngannou versus Gane. Very close names there. But yeah,
Wow.
So to recap, I got Kenny, Torres, Chiesa, Munoz, and Gane. Let's get that first 5-0 win. Come on, guys.
Probably not.
I'm feeling a 2-3.
Probably not.
Still
All right.
Still over 500.
I said 2-3.
Oh. Jesus.
All right, Ben.
well.
We gonna both bet Chipotle on that?
Whoa.
Oh. No, because it'll be 2-2-1 because that girl won't fight.
I know. Right? God, that would be Angela Hill to have another fight canceled. God damn.
All right.
Man.
Well, we can shift our attention to the softball diamond now. There's plenty of games to report. And, it's funny because you started the Cohooney 5 and I started, ramming around my brain here about what was the first game that happened, since our last show. And then I remembered. So it would essentially be 2 weeks ago tomorrow. Friday night, we had a big game against a team that we were tied with in the division at 3-1, and may have partaken in the worst inning of my softball career. If you thought you had a bad one, try giving up 17 runs in the top of the first inning. So, we got down pretty bad early, and I give the team credit. The other team had a lot of good hits, but we made a handful of errors. And I mean, the way I saw it is they don't score half of those runs if we just make some plays. Mm-hmm. So it was unfortunate. We did battle back. We kind of grinded. I want to say we lost that game maybe 22-13, mm-hmm. maybe was the final. It was something around there. Yep. So kind of a tough one on the road, hard one to hit. We have a pretty talented team on Friday, and it was a tough one for sure. But we eventually bounced back, but I'll get to that. I'll keep this in sequence as we go to the following Monday. We ended up winning the opener of our Monday season. And then we played against a familiar foe in Pitch Lap, had a nice competitive game. We had a big inning where we kind of took a big lead, and then they started to climb back late in the last inning as the clock expired. But thankfully, the player had fouled out to end the game, and I think we ended up winning that game 12-9. So we started out 2-0 on Mondays. So definitely a good start there. I think it might be our first 2-0 start. And, then we went into Wednesday. We had a Wednesday game. We started 1-0 as well there. We played against a pretty brand new team, and we handled our business with ease. And I wasn't there for this game, but we did end up losing. I think the final score was 13-7 based on what I saw in the standings. So I think that's, and which I'm pretty sure is the first game we've ever lost at a game that I haven't been there. So kind of surprised. You guys usually do pretty damn well without me there. So
yeah, it was 7-7 going into the bottom of the sixth, and they put up, or bottom of the fifth, and then they put up 7 runs. Just a couple, way too many errors. Nothing we can do really much.
Yeah, so it happens.
Pulled my quad in the first inning. Ended up grounded out to a game-ending double play in the top of the sixth, and I couldn't run.
Solid.
Which sucks because you could definitely slide, John, if you like to, but.
I don't even know if I could have slid on this, but yes, thank you for clarifying now.
I definitely do not recall ever telling you could not slide in this league, so I don't know where you got that idea from. But anyways, I digest. Let's move on to last Friday, another game that I missed.
What about?
I'm sorry.
Are you going
to hijack the segment? That's fine.
Hold on. Are you going? I thought you were going day by day. Are you going, or are you just going by game by game?
Just going in sequence of how the game's played out.
I thought you were going day by day. Okay.
Nope. Well, pay attention to the segment. You probably know. But anyway, so we went to the Friday
segment. This is my pitch break.
We went to
the bathroom.
Which is sad because you're involved in this now. So, anyways, again, I digest once again. We go to Friday, and again, another game I wasn't there for. We played against Haley's team for the third time. We handled business the first two, and definitely sounds like the final score of 13-2. Y'all handled business again in the third game. So in recap of Fridays, we went 1-1 in the last 2 games. We are now 4-2, and we play against WTF tomorrow night with a chance to redeem ourselves. We kind of blew one in the second game of the season against them. We had that game won, and then we had some errors in the last inning. They ended up basically walking it off. It's time to get redemption tomorrow night. So hopefully that plays out. And then as we go into this week that just happened, Monday night, we played against a very young, very fast team. And got to tell you, the competition, especially on Monday nights, has been great. All the scores have been very close. And I think that's something that's what you look for when you play, and especially like in a rec league softball, is you just want teams to be very even. And I think this is maybe the most evenly spread out competition wise, spread throughout our entire league. So that's very nice to see. So kind of a rough one. We ended up not winning. We didn't lose though. We ended up tying. We had, some issues in the game where their pitcher wasn't hitting, and, you can't do that. If you're a position player, you need to be hitting. There's this whole mess of a thing. So, it was a very close game. We took the lead late, and they ended up scoring 3 in the bottom of the last thing as clock had expired, and we ended up tying 8-8. So still 2-0-1 there. We went, 1-0-1 in the 2 games that we played since the last show, and we have a doubleheader this coming Monday, and we get a chance for redemption. We play that team that we just tied with again in the second game. So, man, if we can find a way, I think we'd love to win both, but I think we definitely want to win that game for sure. And then as this past Wednesday happened, Cohooney sat out. He was on the IL. He didn't play. So this was last night. We played against a team that was also 1-1 like ourselves. So it was kind of a good, measuring to see, like, I thought it was another good game. The one sad thing is that the other team only ended up having 8 players, essentially 9 if you count the fact they had an extra guy, but you can't play with an extra guy, so you got to have a guy sub in and out. So realistically, they're playing with 8, which the first few innings didn't look like they're playing with 8 because our bats were pretty quiet, and got to a point where I don't remember what inning it was, but it was like 5-3 we were up, and then they had second and third. Had a nice line drive double play that got us out of an inning, and then all of a sudden our bats woke up and we scored, and then we ended up winning that game. We scored the mercy rule ending run in the bottom of the 6th to win like 15-3. So came out with a good victory, 1-1 on Wednesdays in the last 2 games. We're now 2-1. and we get to go to face the Pitchmakers next Wednesday. So that'll be an interesting game for sure. So,
Y'all have fun with that.
so hey, you know what? They're spotting team 7 runs, which is helpful. And I haven't got the update on the scores of last night, but I'm pretty confident they are 0-3 after their first 3 games. So we'll see.
This means they're gonna put all the kick our ass.
Yeah, I mean, I think no matter what, we're gonna have to play we're gonna have to hit the ball a lot better than we've had. I think a lot of our players in general, I think we're not hitting as much as we know we can. I think we're struggling. I mean, I can speak for myself personally. I've left a lot of runners on base. So
hell yeah, you have.
So well, Ben, you're the worst person to be chiming in because you leave runners on base every time you come up to the plate. So I don't know.
That's my role.
Who you are.
I'm out there for defense.
Know your role. Shut your mouth on that. So I guess if there's anything you guys want to add on anything, I could go to individually, but I guess your guys' feeling was anything. I don't know. Ben, how you feel about Mondays? Jason, the same thing, or Wednesdays, and Cahoon, how you feel about hurting yourself every time you seem to play sports? I don't know what you want to throw in there.
I'll just start off. I like the competition in Mondays. Like you said, it's probably the most even it's been throughout the entire league. Normally there's 1, maybe 2 teams that are just run away the best team. But this year, I think that everyone's just pretty even, but I think we do actually have the edge over everyone. I think we have a lot of chemistry amongst the team. And I think this is a really good season for us to take advantage of the competition and win our first championship for the pitches. So I'm really hoping that we can do it, and we'll see what we have to offer come playoff time.
A lot of season left. A lot
of season left. But yeah, no, that's my feeling on Mondays.
So, Jason, anything else you want to add? Maybe Mondays or Wednesdays too? Anything?
I mean, or Fridays. I mean, whatever.
Or Fridays too. You can, why don't you talk about Fridays? Go for it. That way John can throw in some stuff for Wednesdays.
No, Fridays is like Ben said, it's good competition. I mean, other than that 17 run first inning. I'm looking forward to playing WTF again. It's no offense, Haley, but played you 3 times. Kind of tired of it. So
you hear that, Haley?
Hey,
old news.
Jay, we gotta lock that up so that way you can send it to Haley. Just
kind of tired.
I'm
sure she's tired of seeing us. Like,
I was saying, in fairness, we all prefer to play on the same team as Haley. We don't like playing against her.
Absolutely.
So that was the one benefit of when I asked Haley to sub for us tomorrow night. She said she couldn't. I said, well, the good thing is we don't have to worry about playing against you at least.
Right.
So
no, I mean, I love her on my team. I just playing the same team 3 times. It's not fun in like a 10-game season, whatever it is.
Especially when there's teams that we're not facing at all, which, based on competition wise, which that's going to change. We are going to start seeing those teams again. So,
So it's good competition and ready to play tomorrow night.
John, anything? John, I'm just curious. I mean, what's just thought out there? The funniest thing that may have happened was when I asked you straight up if you thought that team we played last Wednesday was any good, and you just straight up said no. So is there anything you want to maybe add into that or anything like that? I don't think any of them are ever going to see this. So
they're pretty. I mean, I thought they're pretty good. I don't know why he says no, but okay.
I just mean we should have won that game. There was just way too many errors. It was just one of those games where we didn't play our best game. I know just by watching you guys so many the times I've had.
I'm sorry. Keep going.
Go ahead, John.
The segment.
I had a question I was going to ask him.
Okay, what was the question?
So again, I wasn't there for this. Out of the 7 runs or even any other offensive thing you guys had, were they all clean hits or were they making errors too?
They were clean hits. They didn't really make any errors.
Okay, so you guys pretty much earned everything you got.
The first inning we had bases loaded and we there were so many every time we got out except for the last inning, it was with runners on. It was just the last inning we went 1, 2, 3, and of course they went and got 7 runs, and then the last inning before the game losing inning we went 1, 2, 3 as well. But the first inning, I'm pretty sure we had bases loaded and we flew out and we didn't score, and then they went and scored 3 runs I think in the first or something like that. It was just we had so many opportunities to do way more, and then all the unforced errors we needed, and it was just one of those games we're gonna have. Yeah, can't win them all.
The good thing is that it sounds like competitive wise it'll be a good game. We get to play them one more time.
Yeah.
And again, with playoffs too, we can see him again there. So we'll have our chance to redeem ourselves against them for sure. So
Hopefully this time I don't pull my quad.
yeah, maybe don't do that. That'd be
And maybe
nice.
stretch a little bit before the game. Might help.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Or test out the grass and find the mud spots.
All right. Well, we can shift over something that we've never covered ever before on a show.
We won't again for another
ever
2
before.
years.
And it may be the only time we talk about it this entire time. But the Olympics, the 2020 Olympics going on right now. And Ben, I think, or is it Ben? Do you have some stuff to report maybe for the Olympics?
Yeah, I got some stuff, like just a few little oddball things.
Take it away.
Yeah, so with the 2020 asterisk 2021 Olympics, there were some key moments that had happened. Women's gymnastics takes home silver in the team overall, so that was pretty cool. Wasn't gold, but it was still medaling, and that's a big representation to the United States with gymnastics. They, I believe, lost out to Russia, who, even with a not so great balance beam team effort, the US gave them too many opportunities to stay alive. So moving on to that, though, Michaela Skinner, in a situation where she got to compete for a medal because she was actually going to miss out on that after announcing her retirement from gymnastics after this Olympic Games. She actually did get an opportunity on vault with Simone Biles stepping away. So she got silver. That was pretty good. It was nice to see her receive a medal on her parting ways from her sport. And then Jade Carey takes home gold on the floor exercise. That was pretty awesome. She had a great routine and deserved gold all the way. So, but taking it to Simone Biles, she did take home bronze on the balance beam, which was a huge thing. It wasn't really known if she was going to compete on any of the events because she did qualify to compete on all of them, but she had to take some personal time because her mental state was not the best. And it kind of just showed everyone to the world that everyone's human, everyone has a breaking point, and the strain that competing in the Olympics, especially in gymnastics, has a very hard impact on your body. And she did say that she just didn't want to push it and she wasn't too sure. And overall, it was kind of showing her maturity that she really didn't want to risk hurting the team by not giving it 100%. She wanted to make sure she was 100% on whatever exercise she did. She wanted to make sure that it was 100% for the team and give it her best. So she did end up coming back just for balance beam, which again, she was able to step away. And Michaela Skinner was perfectly capable to take her spot on vault, and everyone kind of all took a piece and did their part. So it was really awesome to see. Sanisa Lee, she's the U.S. gymnast. She takes bronze on uneven bars, but took gold on individual all around, which was huge. So a lot of props to her. That was a great Olympic outing for her, and I think that she will be something special moving forward for the next Olympic Games. And it's just kind of crazy to see that pretty much everyone in the U.S. Team really stepped up and kind of took a piece to the puzzle to keep the team going and be able to be successful. So, but then there was another part. U.S. women's soccer lost to Canada. They ended up playing Australia for bronze. They ended up winning 4-3, and Canada is, I believe, Canada is playing for gold, I think, this morning, I believe. I'm not 100% sure on that one, but a small shout out was congratulations to the Netherlands women's soccer team for their first Olympic appearance. Unfortunately, they did fall to the US 3-2 in PKs. They had some of their best shooters take their shots, and the U.S. goalkeeper made some key saves. So they ended up taking it. It would have been really cool to see the Netherlands medal, but it is what it is. They'll be back though. They have a lot of talent on that team, so we'll wait and see. Something still in soccer, but not necessarily Olympics. This is something that was heard around the world. Lionel Messi will not return to Barcelona. Talk about insane, because apparently he's been affiliated. He's been affiliated with Barcelona since 2000. So insane. I'm curious where he's gonna go. I did see a tweet from the New Jersey Devils saying, "Hey Messi, what's up?" So you never know. You might just give it a whirl. So that was some of the stuff just in regards to the Olympics. There was a lot. Congratulations to all competitors though that are competing out there in all their respective sports. It's really awesome to see them get to play. Yes, there's no fans for the most part, but it's still cool to see it on TV, to just get to see a little bit of just back to normalcy. And so it's been really cool to kind of check in and see random sports again, and just to see people just proudly representing their country's colors. So definitely enjoying the NBC coverage of all that. So that's all I got right now on that.
Imagine if Messi goes to Juventus. Do you know why that's funny, Ben?
No, I have no idea. I don't even know where the hell that is.
Juventus is the team that Cristiano Ronaldo plays on.
Oh, shit.
Imagine if Messi and Ronaldo teamed up.
That's a whole lot of money.
Yeah, that's a whole lot of money. Like
Juventus
a whole lot of money. Because you think, what, 215 for 4 years or whatever is crazy?
Oh, no, soccer players are the highest paid players in the whole world.
Lionel Messi, I saw his contract thing. It was $71 million per year or something like that. I was like,
to kick a ball around.
To have amazing lung capacity pays
to do a somersault 5 times and hold your leg for the next hour.
Get a yellow card for your team. There we go. But yeah, no, that's all I got on the Olympic coverage and football.
Right.
So
who's got a cane?
Who's got a cane? Oh, get off my lawn, baby.
Okay, that's a good way to introduce it. So yes, it is back. Jason,
get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn. It's here. And I guess we have a good tease of what it's about. So Jason, take it away. What is your get off my lawn this week?
Yeah, you guys teased it pretty well. My get off my lawn is about Sharks forward Evander Kane. I don't know what to say anymore about this guy. I mean, Ben's been pretty vocal about him. It came out. It's never good to publicly have a marriage spat on social media, but his soon-to-be ex-wife pretty much outed him, saying that he was gambling on sports, but not only that, gambling on himself and the Sharks, and is now under investigation by the NHL. It's not a very good look. I mean, I don't know if you guys know, but Pete Rose bet on baseball. He bet on his own team to win, and he was still banned by the game. I can't imagine the outcome of this being any good. At this point, I wish the Sharks would just cut bait and move on from him, and hopefully that opens up a cap. And another thing, I hope Kane and his soon-to-be ex-wife get the help that they need, because this situation blew out of proportion that wasn't necessary. And they have, I believe she's pregnant, and they already have a daughter. They have kids involved. That's never a good look. The kids are going to be able to see this on social media back, I'm sure. So I just hope they get the help that they need. But Evander Kane is, he's been known. He's $500,000 in debt at the Cosmo, and he needs help. And until he's out of a job, basically, he's going to need to hit rock bottom and then finally go get his help. But Evander Kane just not the best look. Get off my lawn. It's terrible for the Sharks, the NHL, himself, his family. Just figure it out, man. It's been, bad luck. Not bad luck, but just events seem to follow him wherever he goes. Yeah, bad choices.
Every year or every other year, there seems to be some sort of significant situation that surrounds that man.
And
every
after
time.
A certain while, you got to be like, maybe it's me.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is cutting into your lawn real quick before I get kicked off of it.
No, that's all good.
Just
don't piss on my lawn.
Just don't piss on your lawn. All right, no squatting. Anyways, he does have one problem after another, and the Sharks have openly now announced, the players have said that they did not want him last year. They wanted him to be moved away. Management tried, but there was no takers. Obviously it was when the stuff came out publicly about his debt and how the Sharks were kind of backing it and everything like that. That's when the players kind of really were more vocal, I believe. And you know what? I'm not surprised about that, because the person that picked him up from the airport was Joe Thornton, right? They have a history, Team Canada, whatever, all this shit. They have a history. But now that Thornton was gone, he moved to Toronto. I think everyone else was just like, yeah, we're over you, dude. Like, you can leave now. Like, even with him scoring 30 goals or however many he scored last season, people still didn't give a shit. They were like, we're still in the same predicament with or without you. We just have a bad look now because of you. Right. So I'm not surprised that the team wants him out. And frankly, like you said, I hope he gets help. I hope he gets help, because he does have a gambling problem, clearly. Obviously, the marriage situation is just a fireball, but he needs to get help for himself, and he does need to, unfortunately, hit complete rock bottom. As long as he has money and life coming in, life support towards his gambling coming in, he's going to keep doing his thing. There's not going to mentally be anything wrong with what he's doing. And so it's going to be very interesting to see what next chapter is written for this guy. It's crazy. So
that's I got.
That's it. All right.
Insanity. Yeah, I guess the only thing I'll add is that, I think it's a really bad look just in general. But I think the guy needs to obviously get help. I think the whole gambling thing, that's a whole nother thing to look into, and to really, I guess dive in. But my thing is that, like, the whole thing with his kid, with his daughter, and obviously future kid, like, that's the thing. And I'm not here to say whether or not what's true, what's not true, and like that. For all I know, everything that his wife is saying is 100% true. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if everything she's saying is true. But I just think it's just a bad look in general for, I think, everybody involved. And hopefully that there's some resolution that's found, because you can't be a distraction over and over again. Like, you have, and I truly hope he does hit rock bottom. I hope he gets help before that. But some people need to hit rock bottom to get that help. So.
I think this is one of those people that unfortunately needs that.
Yeah, and I'm not here to root for anybody and anybody in general. It could be Vander Kane, it could be anybody. I don't want to see anybody hit that to get there, but some people are fortunate to do it, and sometimes you have to let people almost get to that to really sit there and realize, okay, you know what? Like you said, like you guys were saying, look yourself in the mirror and be like, you know what? Maybe it is me. So, I hope at the end of the day, there's help for him for sure.
And who knows what was going on behind the scenes with his soon-to-be ex-wife. Maybe this is her rock bottom. Like, I've done everything I possibly can. Outing him is the only what's left. I mean, we don't know. So, hopefully they get the help that they all need.
Yep. Agreed.
All right. Well, does that conclude your get off my lawn for this week?
Yep.
All right. Well, we can now shut it or shift it. I almost said shut it.
Shut it. You shut it.
You shut it.
Okay. All right. Let's all take a breath as I load up the back to something that's not that kind of music for this. But,
that's what she said.
Here we go. It's a constant segment we have every single one of our shows. It's one of the things as we kind of starting to wrap things down. It's the hit it or quit it, which is, one of us brings up a question. So in a roundtable discussion, we all take our turn saying whether or not we're hitting it or are we quitting it. So, John, I know you have a couple. We'll start things off with you. What do you got?
Yep. So to start off the hit it or quit it, as I mentioned on multiple podcasts, I expected the Warriors to trade Wiseman, Wiggins, and the 2 draft picks for a star player like Bradley Beal or, just to name a few, and they didn't. They actually kept everyone and they used the 2 draft picks. And my hit it or quit it is hit it or quit it. Did they make the right choice drafting the 2 players and not trading the picks?
I will.
Yeah, let's have someone who has like some good knowledge about this answer this first.
Be smart.
I'm guessing I'm gonna hit it, which would be.
They made the right choice.
Made the right choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with hit it. I think more thinking about it. I think I said on a previous podcast that I would trade for Bradley Beal or Damian Lillard. I just think giving up Wiseman, Wiggins, 2 draft picks, and maybe even more than that was too much. I think if this guy Kuminga and Moody are halfway decent, you can still keep Wiggins. I mean, I know everybody's not the biggest Wiggins fan. He just makes a lot of money, and his skill level is not there. He's still a solid 4th guy, but I think for the growth of the team and hopefully the bridge from Curry to somebody else, I think they made the right choice. So yeah, I'll hit it.
Craig, you want me to go?
Yep.
Yeah, I think I'll follow suit. I think exactly what Jason said. I think it's just too much to give up. And I mean, Jason just said it so perfectly. I don't know how much content I can really add into it. So, but I don't know. I just think there's some question marks. I mean, I don't think you can firmly say that the Warriors, chances of winning another championship are down to 0. I think they absolutely do. I think the real big question mark is Klay's health. Is he going to be anywhere near to what Klay Thompson was? Because we all know that Steph Curry still has more in the tank. He's still going to provide. So, and there's other pieces that they could still possibly add.
Sure.
They could make it so. I mean, we'll see how it goes. I just think, it would be too much. So I myself am going to hit it as well. So yeah, you can.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have to agree with you guys. I'd have to say that they made the right choice not trading. We were discussing the options and everything like that. And, obviously me and Craig are more so Craig, we're clearly not basketball knowledgeable people. But what you guys were saying, where you were saying that Wiggles guy and the other dude with the W, you were that guy.
You have really bad memory, bro.
So you were saying with both of those guys and trying to get 1-star player for your future essentially isn't ideal. It's a win now situation, but if you miss, you're really just narrowing your gap to really make it difficult, where if you miss, you're done and you've wasted now your future. So I think that it's the right choice and not a good idea to give up as much as we were discussing for trying to trade for a big name player. For one piece, for essentially 4 to 5 pieces isn't ideal. So yeah, I'll have to say hit it. Thank you. Yes, hit it. That's what I was feeling. So right. Yes, John.
For someone who has no idea what he's talking about, he actually made really good points. And yeah, is exactly what I was gonna go. No, not you. Actually, yeah, because I am following suit.
All right, where's the mute button?
I'm hitting it because, like Ben said, if they were to do all that trade and they were to go get someone big, they would have to win the title this year. If they don't, hey, there goes the future, and they're rebuilding for the next 10 years once Curry and Klay are done. So yeah, for me, I'm going to hit it because there wasn't all the names, Lillard, Beal, they're backcourt players. They're not players that I think would have fit perfectly. Like if they were to get those players, Klay would have had to move to the 3, and I don't know, especially off the 2 torn ACLs. Like if they were doing the trade for someone like Kawhi, perfectly fits in at that small forward position, that makes more sense. But it didn't make sense to give up the future for a potential win now when you could get these 2 players. This is supposed to be one of the best drafts in years. Who knows? Both these 2 players could turn into all-stars, and maybe who knows? So yeah, I'm gonna hit it.
Okay. So we are all in agreement. All right. Well,
look at Ben actually making good points in a basketball segment.
It happens.
So I think we have to clip that.
Yeah.
All right, Jason, you're up.
Okay. I talked about it a little bit earlier in the NFL segment with the Niners. Trey Lance is getting a lot of rave reviews. Beat writers are calling him the second coming, basically. So my question to you guys is Trey Lance under center week 1? Hit it or quit it?
I'll go first on this one, just because.
Game 1 of the regular season.
Look, I'm not trying to throw any hate, because the truthful answer is I don't have any hateful feelings toward the Niners. I'm very like a open football fan. Like I just really enjoy the sport.
We know with your 18 teams you like.
I just really.
Craig likes winners. He likes to win.
Ben.
Yeah.
Okay, Ben. Which teams are you supporting this week, Ben? Like, yeah, let's get into that, Mister. Lionel Messi. We're talking about football. You know what? Just so. But yeah, so like again, I don't have anything. I've openly admitted I really like George Kittle. Like I'm a big Kittle fan, actually. I think he's great personality. Skittles? And but the thing is that like I feel like this whole Trey Lance thing is getting blown up so much. Like it was a training camp practice. We're already talking about this guy being like elite. Like, come on, really? Yeah. Like we're jumping the gun way too soon right now. So that's my take on that thing. I think that was just getting blown out because I was on Twitter and it was just all over the place. I'm like, are we serious right now? This is really what we're talking about right now. Like we're that into that. We're talking
about practice.
We're talking about practice. Like, come on. But to answer your question of hit it or quit it, I still think Garoppolo is going to be under center game 1. I don't know how long he's going to be there, but so to your question, I'm quitting it. Trey Lance will not be under center week number 1.
Well, I will go next.
What Craig said.
No, fuck that. I'm gonna say that the Niners are gonna give him an honest look during preseason, and I think that if he
they gave everyone an honest look.
Not always. Anyways, they're gonna give him an honest look, and I think that if he gives off a couple touchdown passes and shows his rushing abilities and scramble abilities, I think he will be. Not necessarily to say like you're going to be our guy for life, but to maybe kind of light a fire under Garoppolo's ass and be like, listen, you're making a fuck ton of money, dude. Like, but here, we're going to show you that you're going to have competition. Your spot isn't secure. So I'm going to say hit it that he will be the under the center or however you preferred. Whatever. I thought it was behind, but
I like,
it's
not
cool.
like that, Ben. Never down.
We're not at softball. Calm down.
Sorry. Anyways, yeah, so I'm going to say hit it that he will be. I could see it happening. So, Cahoon?
Hit it. Jimmy G's going to get hurt during preseason.
Ooh, that's solid.
I was kind of curious if that was going to happen. Like, I was like, who's going to be the one who has that take?
Okay.
All right.
I'm going to hit it, and it's kind of a trick question because I never said he's going to start the game week 1.
Yeah, that one came in my head too.
They have packages for him. He's going to play week 1. I just don't know if he's going to start. So yeah, I'm going to hit it.
Fuck's sake.
I see what you did there.
That's some bullshit.
All right.
Next.
My turn. All right, so I know we touched on the new A's acquisitions, and we've talked about their offense and their new look. Now the question is, let me probably a little content. You're coming down to the last stretch. You're in a sprint now from here to the finish line, and you're gonna want your best lineup out there every day, right? More than likely, you guys probably agree with that.
Yeah, I guess.
So here's the question: with the acquisition of Josh Harrison specifically, if Matt Chapman still continues to hit as bad as he has been, he has that little streak where he's hit okay, but he's still hitting 14, whatever it is. And he's also leading the major leagues in strikeouts. Do you consider making Matt Chapman maybe not an everyday player if he continues to struggle with the bat? So I guess the hit it or quit it form of the question is, hit it or quit it, Matt Chapman should start getting frequent days off. Hit it or quit it.
I'll start this. Hit it. Hit that shit hard. Hit it hard all the way. Yes. Because if I'm getting to that. Anyways. Jesus. No. Hit that.
You literally sound like you were done.
Shut up. Hit it. Because like you said, he's leading the major leagues in strikeouts. That's not good. It doesn't matter if you're hitting above 2. If you can get a better option to get a hold of the bat in that position, yeah, why not sit the guy? Like, what harm is it going to do? Because all you're doing is giving a better opportunity to somebody who probably won't strike out as much and will possibly get on base and create more offense. Because as you guys know, too many times where base is loaded and you guys don't get any manufactured runs out of it. So yeah, don't put someone like Chapman in that role where he's going to be able to screw over the team in that situation. Like, if you have a better option, go with it. Just like you said, if I was the manager of the team, yeah, sit your ass down, bitch. Like, sorry, you had your time. Jesus. So anyways, that's mine.
Who wants to take a shot at that now?
Damn!
Anybody?
I'll go. I will hit it as well. I think, like you said, Craig, you want to have your best hitters down the stretch. If anything, you could have Chapman be a defensive sub on the games that he doesn't start and doesn't hit. I mean, obviously his glove's still pretty elite. The days of him asking for $300 million, I think, are long gone. He's not getting that or even close to it. Yeah, Harrison, like we talked about, he has a great average. You're going to have to move some people around too. You got, Jed Lowry. He's not a lock to play second anymore, I don't think. I mean, you can move Harrison to play second. You can move other pieces. You can make Lowry the DH. You can make Chapman a DH. But hitting it, because I think if he loses some at-bats, it may light a fire under him. And if it's not already, to perform a little bit better. And we know it's in we know he has it. It's just a matter of getting it there. So yeah, I'll hit it.
Yeah, I'm quitting it. You're not taking that glove out of the lineup. He's batting 8th in the lineup right now. He might as well be Jose Iglesias when it comes to hitting. But he's the best third baseman fielding wise in the league. You're not taking that glove off the diamond. Keep having him bat 8th. At worst, literally have him bat 9th. Put Andrews at 8. But yeah, put him as low as you can at the lineup until he figures shit out. But you're not taking that glove out of the lineup. I don't care.
All right. This is a tough one for me, which I think I was relying on what you guys' content also provided to kind of sway me in a direction. But it's a close call for me, but I think I'd lean towards the hit it, because offensively they need their offense to be they need their offense to be consistent. And I don't know what the deal with Chapman is. I don't know. I don't know if the guys. Right. I would believe that if his defense was substantially different, but I don't think his defense has gotten noticeably worse in any way. So I find it hard to believe he can still make defensive plays, but apparently he can't hit. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So I just think, I've heard this on post game, I think the book is out on Matt Chapman, just like it was with Chris Davis. There was a book out on him. Chris Davis couldn't hit. Well, there's a book out on Matt Chapman right now. Pitchers know what to throw to him. He can't handle velocity. He can't hit velocity. So as much as I hate it, Chapman is, just as a overall, just kind of like what he means to the team. He's one of my favorite players. He's a great third baseman. I am absolutely in awe of his defense, time in and time out, the things that he does. But I don't know. I'm not saying you bench him and you play him one game a week. I'm saying maybe you give him a day or two off a week. You sit him maybe one game every series, just because offensively, yeah, look, he can hit the home run, he can do it. So that's why you don't want to take him out completely. But I think at some point you have to put your best front forward. And if that means you got to put a guy like Josh Harrison at third here and there, and you got Jed Lowry at DH, because Jed Lowry, yeah, the defensive playing second base, yeah, he's not the fastest guy. He's not gonna make the great plays. But the thing is that Jed Lowry isn't a problem offensively. He's not gonna hit like 300, obviously. But if you look at team batting average with guys with runners in scoring position, Jed Lowry is basically the best hitter when it comes to that. So if you're worried about, providing runs when you have players in scoring position, Jed Lowry is the guy you went up to the plate right now. So I like the ability to put Jed Lowry as a designated hitter, but even in a situation, you could put Jed Lowry at second, and you could have a guy like Moreland bat DH, even though Moreland has been a little bit of a disappointment. But I don't know, based on, lefty right situation, you kind of almost have to look that way. So again, I'm not saying you bench the guy all the bunch. You only play him once or twice a week. I'm just saying you start frequently putting him on the bench. And even like Jason said, you put him in as a defensive substitution late in the game because, yeah, you don't want to lose that glove. But, man, we've talked about it time and time out about their offense. You got to put your best foot forward. So I'm leaning towards the hit it. I'm not saying bench the guy a ton, but I would lean towards the hit it on this one.
I want winners.
Want winners.
Yep.
So, all right, Ben, it's your turn for a question. What do you got?
All right. Well, with the Chicago Blackhawks acquiring Marc-Andre Fleury, Seth Jones, Caleb Jones, and Tyler Johnson, even hit it or quit it that Chicago will make the playoffs this year. This season. I mean, just to make sure.
I'm gonna quit it. I still think there's a couple of better teams. Couple of better teams. They still got to jump to get in the playoffs. But it'll be close. It'll be a fringe team.
Okay.
They'll be 4 in the division, but I still see the couple of better teams. They still got to pass. And hey, Fleury's past his prime as well. You could argue. Who knows what kind of Fleury they're gonna get? So I still think they're. Like I said, they're a fringe team. They could make it, but I don't see it. Great.
Oh man, I was hoping you'd go first. I don't know. It's tough because they're still getting production from some of the guys that have been there. They did dump off. Who was it? Duncan Keith that they just got rid of. They dumped him off. So
he's in.
They got rid of Seabrook.
Yeah. I think I'm going to side with John on this one. I actually like I think they are a fringe team. They could be there. And I personally really like Marc-Andre Fleury. I think he's a great goaltender. And I said that I kind of wish he would have been a Shark. I'm not disappointed necessarily as some of the other people on the show with the goaltending that they did get. But yeah, I don't know. I think Fleury is definitely a good option for them. I think they'll be a fringe team. I guess I wouldn't be surprised if they make the playoffs, but I would lean towards more of the quit it that they won't make the playoffs. I think there's just other teams that I think are better than them that'll finish ahead of them. So that's close, but yeah, I'll go quit it as well.
Yeah, looking at who's in our division, I'm going to quit it as well. You look at Colorado's probably a lock. Dallas is probably a lock.
Are they a lock?
Nah, I wouldn't say Dallas is locked.
Okay, you got St. Louis and Winnipeg.
I like Winnipeg.
Winnipeg, yeah, probably.
St. Louis is about to lose to Tarasenko, so that's kind of
I'm gonna quit it with just how the teams in the division.
Too many question marks in that division. Outside of Colorado.
A lot of question marks.
Outside of Colorado.
And you got the Desert Dogs in there now too, so not that they're.
They're always a French team as well. So
yeah,
they also just gave up OEL and they also gave up Connor Garland.
Like they gave up a good chunk of big name guys. Kessel wants out too.
Yeah, so I don't know.
He was already out.
I thought Connor Garland was pretty darn good for them. I seemed like he was especially when they played against the Sharks, he was all over the place. And
he was a Ducks killer as well. So
and there was a whole mess of that too. So about him getting traded, and so
fringe at best.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say hit it. Not necessarily with the most confidence, just like you guys aren't the most confident with saying that they're to quit it. It is listening to the teams, and essentially that division did some of the most moves this year. There are a lot of question marks, and so it's going to be a gauntlet either way. This is what I just heard, and how many moves they did. It literally reminds me of the Pacific Division 6 years ago or whatever, where literally everybody is just a powerhouse team, and somehow all of them have more points than the other division, but we're all fighting for those top spots to just be in the playoff picture. So I'm going to say hit it. I think that they're going to have enough veteran style play, and those guys know what they need to do to get to the playoffs. Not necessarily they're going to go deep. I think they will just make it in just enough. So I will say hit it. All right.
Okay.
And what is your last one?
John, you're wrapping this up.
Oh yeah,
go.
this is just a fun one. Me and Craig were talking about it earlier this week,
Oh,
and I
God.
said, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna bring it up on the podcast. Hit it or quit it. Mac Jones is gonna have a better overall career than
God.
Trey Lance."
What a
Quit it.
joke.
Move the fuck
What a
on.
Yeah.
joke.
I don't even know who the fuck Max Jones is. Pass.
He was the one that was projected to go to the
Who the
Niners.
fuck is that guy?
Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck outta here.
Nah.
I think we're all just
Quit
gonna
it.
say, quit it.
Quit it. Get the fuck out of
Yep.
here.
I knew all you guys were gonna say quit it, but I'm saying is they hit it because I hated Mac Jones at 3 to the Niners. I love him in New England. I think it's perfect fit, and I think he's one of those quarterbacks that needed the perfect fit to succeed. You know, Trey Lance. I think he's gonna have a good year, but he's got a lot of pressure for the Niners, and he's also in the best division in football. While you could argue the AL East has always been one of the weakest divisions. Sure, they got Josh Allen and Bills right now, but
AFC East,
they've always been AFC East, whatever. NFC East is shit trash too. Who gives a shit?
What?
But yeah, Mac Jones went to the perfect position, perfect place. He doesn't have to play for another year or two. Cam Newton's going to be there. And you know what? He walks just like Bill Belichick. He's a perfect player for Bill Belichick, and he's got a better career than
Trash.
Trey Lance.
Yeah, mark the tape right there.
Trash.
Yep.
Shit. All right. Well, that concludes.
Well, Chipotle burrito.
That concludes our hit it or quit it
Like 10 years from now.
this week. So as we are approaching the finish line of the show, it's been a jam-packed one. A lot of stuff going on. We know how to close this thing out. If you've seen any of our shows before, we have some shout outs. It could be anything. It could be people we know. We got birthday shout outs. We got wedding shout outs, all kinds of stuff. So I know I got a few, but boys, if there's anything that you guys have, feel free.
I'll go first.
Go ahead, John.
All right, I'm gonna shout out my buddy Gustavo. He shouted us out on Twitter. Really nice. So gonna give him a shout out. Go ahead and follow him on Twitter. It's at Life of Goosty. Just giving him a shout out. Thanks, man.
Very nice.
Jason.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Well, I got a couple here. To my wife, to being so amazing, because yeah,
She hasn't killed you yet?
Handle. Yeah, she hasn't.
What did
killed
Ben
me
do?
yet. No, and then shout out.
She's
to,
only stated right there.
Petco for hooking it up with, because we got a couple new family members with our chameleons, Mose and Dwight. What's up? And then
Wait, what?
shout out
Who
to
would Dwight?
our
Who would
buddy David Dwight, not White, you racist.
No, I said
Anyway.
who and Dwight?
Oh, Mose.
Okay.
Our buddy David from our softball team giving us a follow on YouTube and everything. So appreciate you. And I'm sure he's going to be listening and getting a good kick out of all this. And thanks for calling me the funniest guy. Appreciate it. And then also shout out to all the softball teams that we play for, not having to deal with my shit all the time and haven't killed me either. So I really appreciate that.
Jeez.
Oh no, we've thought about it.
Oh, I'm sure you have.
Good Lord.
You're like 2 weeks in. We've been doing this for years.
Yeah, I know.
You're new to this.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're into this.
I don't care. That's all it takes.
Oh,
Go crazy.
Jason, me?
Go-
Okay.
Yeah.
Glad that Ben actually did bring up softball real quick, because I do actually want to shout out Ben and I's tournament team that we play for, the Brouhahas. We we play a couple tournaments every year. In the summertime, we go up to Guerneville, and then January, we go play in Vegas. And we've gotten close a couple of times, and we've never pulled through. But this past couple weeks ago, we finally ended up taking the championship gold, or the trophy, whatever you want to call it. We had a 6-0 weekend. We kind of handled business on the Saturday during the seeding games, and just overall just a really fun team, and just really just selfless players. It's like playing for the next man up. So it was like, even when we would have a bad at bat or make an error, it was just like, no, we got you, pick it up. And that's just a really solid team. It was just a really fun weekend. And 6 games on a weekend sounds really good until after you play, and then you realize that your body isn't really made for something like that. So
no.
Tell me about it.
but just shout out to them. Just really cool to finally kind of pull away with a championship in softball. So really fun times, and it's just a great weekend for sure. And then the other shout out Ben, you can appreciate this. I'm actually going to shout out the good sports fans of Anaheim, California. And I do this because I have now been to 7 sporting events, 3 hockey games, whether see the Sharks or the Ducks. I've been to 4 baseball games. And let me tell you, I can honestly say this. I have not been given any shade or any bad mouthing by any single person to my face in any game I've been to. And don't get me wrong, I'm cool with a little bit of like, oh, your team sucks, whatever. Like, there's certain lines you don't cross and stuff like that. I'm cool with it. I'm a person, I don't really throw into it. I'll joke around, but I don't take things personal about stuff like that. I pretty much mostly keep my mouth shut, especially when I'm in a city that I don't know. And I'm also not with people that I know. But I was just impressed. I was amazed that I didn't get especially, 4 games in Anaheim, back to back, not a single person throwing shade. And that's pretty rare because let me tell you something about Bay Area sports fans. They are ruthless and they are not kind. And I got to tell you, there's some things I'm not happy about with some of some Bay Area fans on things that they say. But I just want to shout them out. I was just, again, I always felt safe and comfortable. I never felt like, there was any, negative feelings towards me. So that's a big thing, I think, especially when you go to a sporting event in a city you don't know. And you're basically, for me, I'm by myself in Anaheim. And there was nothing like that. And all the staff people there are really friendly too. So shout out to them. So I just wanted to say that as well. So really cool to not have, anybody say anything to you. It's kind of nice in a sense. So, but yeah, Jason, go ahead. Any shout outs you got?
Just want to shout out our good buddy, Eric Dickinson. We're going to have a little guys in out this weekend for his upcoming wedding. So that'll be fun. And then last news broke today. Shout out Ray Fosse, battling cancer for the last 16 years. That's not good, and we hope you put up a great fight, and we hope to see you back in the booth soon. Shout out to Ray Fosse.
Yeah, absolutely. Tough. It's tough. That's a tough thing for anybody dealing with cancer, or there's yourself and your family. It's never fun. But definitely gonna miss him for sure in the booth. He's always been one of a great experience, especially you're watching on TV. He's on the radio too. He's always a great kind of person to listen to. So, and he's been someone I've listened to, do A's games for years. Right. And so he's always been fun.
Almost feels like a lifetime.
Yeah. So
best Dwayne wishes. Kuiper on the Giants side, we battling something too.
Yep. Exactly. So definitely, good health to hopefully both of them, and hopefully, them and their families, they can get through it and beat the shit out of cancer. So I don't know the Dwayne Kuiper situation exactly what he's dealing with, whatever it is. Hope he kicks the shit out of that too. So, but that's all we got. So fun show, jam-packed as always, and a little extra. We have some time off.
Thank you for sticking with us this whole entire show. I know it was a lot, but a week off and everything going on, so it's crazy.
But so if you haven't already, make sure to give us a follow, subscribe to us over on our YouTube channel. It's at Sports Bets, but mostly Chaos Podcast. You'll get notifications of our shows and everything there. You can make sure to leave us some comments, leave us some likes, anything you did like, anything you didn't like, let us know. We're here to listen, and anything you want to see improve, we'll probably work on making improve. It's not going to get that good. Let's be real. It's not going to be super impressive.
Can't do anything with John's face. Sorry.
Wow. That's so necessary.
Run that guy.
Oh, this is. Oh my God, that is. Just...
I'll get you, and I'll look like a bloody accident.
Okay. All right. Well, anyways,
I think he's adding you to the list of Jericho.
Right. Yeah. So, as well, you can hit us up. You can hit us up. Okay. All right. We're done. But then also we're on Instagram and on Twitter. If you don't already follow us there, make sure to get us up. Both of our handles are at SBBMC_pod. So POD. Give us a follow. Again, same thing. Give us a like, give us some comments there. Any feedback you guys have, we'd love to hear from all of you. And same thing, if you have questions, anything, hit it or quit it. If you're a big fan of that segment, if there's anything you guys want us to go over, drop it in the comments. Let us know. DM us if you'd like. We'd love to, DMs, make it a part of the show. Yeah, slide into the DMs.
Slide into those DMs, baby.
And But yeah, so give us a follow there, everything like that. And then I think there was gonna say something else, and now I completely forgot. So that's
If you have kids, they're appreciated as well to sign in
that's
those.
right. Oh yeah, so I was gonna say, so and another thing too about the promote about the YouTube channel, a big show like this. I know when you first look at it, you're like, oh man, it's a long time. Look at the description. We have timestamps. If you just want to hear about NBA news, boom, click right to it. You'll hear just the NBA news. Maybe you just want to know MLB, boom, got you right there. Maybe you want to jump right to the Cohooney 5 because you know he's going to give you really bad picks. Jump right to the Cohooney 5. You can hear it right there. So make
2 and 3, baby. Here we
timestamps.
go.
So we want to make it, as easy for you to maneuver through whatever you want to call this show. So, but from that, I guess we're done. Thank you all for listening. We really appreciate it as always. And best wishes to everyone. And we'll see you guys next time around.
Bye.